Hey everybody, welcome to the 25 Marketing Mastermind. We hope that you are doing well. We hope that you've had a good week. I certainly have had a very interesting one. Lots of things happening, ups and downs, some sad things, some good things. But we're here because we want to share something interesting with everybody here today. And I know that this week's going to be a big week for everybody living in America because the 4th of July is coming up, and that's your Independence Day when you founded America in 1776. You can tell me if I have the right, Pops. I'm pretty sure I got that correct, but hope you guys have an amazing, I think it's Wednesday, 4th of July, yes. So if you guys are heading out for holidays, we hope that everybody is going to be safe and you're driving carefully and you got safe travels. Hope you have an amazing week. But today we've got an interesting topic and a subject we want to share with everybody else. But before we get into that, we want to introduce the panel to you. And right now we have Miss Katie Stage, who we're going to introduce first because she is well, yeah, let's just introduce Katie before I get in trouble. So Katie, how are things going with you? I know you're getting ready to go and see family and stuffs. I'm not saying anything more. Carry on.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm going to go see family and stuffs. That is correct. Back to the studio. I'm just kidding. I could talk a little bit more if you'd like. But in the morning, my sister and I are going to pack the kids, a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, into the minivan. And they're already packed tonight, so they're excited. And we're going to be driving about 4 hours north to go see family for fireworks. So Pops is already up there, so we'll see my brother, we'll see my other niece and nephew, and my mom. So that's gonna be fun.
Awesome. And then of course, Pops, tell me if I have the date right. 1776, is that correct? That was when you had your Independence Day, 4th of July. What is that correct?
That is correct. Yep. 1776. I had my Independence Day in 2012. That was pretty cool. Anyway, I won't go into more detail on that. Yeah, I've been up here in Babbitt it'll be a month on the 4th of July. We got here on June 4th, and that was actually the year to the day that when we first started traveling full time in the RV. So it's a lot of dates going on here. So yeah, it's been busy. I've been actually working on the motel, needed a couple of rooms to be repaired. So I'm staying in there on the property and plugged into electric and kind of working off the rent, I guess. But it's stuff that I like to enjoy. I've always liked working with my hands, and I'm painting and repairing and building, and I got a window to put in, and I got all kinds of stuff to do for before we left last year. She said she wished I wasn't leaving because she needed stuff done. She wanted to hire me, so I guess it came to pass. So I'm part of one of her wishes, apparently, unexpectedly. So be careful of what other people wish for you as well, or wish that you are involved in. And it's been wonderful. I love it up in northern Minnesota. It's really nice up here until the bloodsuckers come out, which could be any day. And they get huge mosquitoes up here and black flies that like to bite in the evening. So you need to have some protection if you're going to be out and about. But yeah, they're everywhere anyway. So we still get them. Hell, we got them down in Texas that were beasts. They were worse than the ones up here. Well, it doesn't matter where you go. And we'll be here for another month probably before we start heading down to Austin, Texas for our MLSP event, which is going to be a big one because it's the 10th anniversary of existence. That's huge. So really excited about that. And then we'll be on to, actually, we're going to do another Eric Worre event in Las Vegas at the end of December. And we're going to go and see Brendan Burchard September in in Phoenix. That's going to be cool. Love it. That guy's phenomenal. So invest in yourself, right? That's the way to do it. That's
Absolutely.
a great way to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'll let you carry on with your, pardon, go ahead, Dave.
No, that's fine. I was just going to say you get, yeah, carry on.
I'm sorry. I think there's a lag again. I didn't mean to interrupt you again, but I wanted to show you this, that I got this in the mail, being that I ranked in MLSP that I have who hit the leader level. I'll get this year's recordings for free when I bring it to the event. So I get the recordings for free, which is nice. So this will be good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No.
That means I get them too. All right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you say you get big flies over there, like horse flies as well?
Yes. Yeah. And they bite big time. Yeah. Up here, what they're called there's actually two kinds, horsefly and deer fly.
Wow.
And the deer fly are a little smaller than the horsefly, as are deer and horse. I don't know who makes this stuff up, and they all bite. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's just one of those amazing things in the English language, like buffalo wings. I don't know, buffalo had wings. I actually heard, I think that was somebody said something to that effect. It's amazing how we get those things.
Well, it was created. They were created in Buffalo, New York. That's why they were named buffalo wings. Yeah. I'll tell you the story some other time. It's an interesting story how it got created and it went nationwide. So
that sounds interesting. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, we've got an interesting subject for everybody today. And if you're watching this on the replay, we hope that you feel welcome. I just want to say hello to Andrea as well, who's watching here in the comments. And as I understand it, Canada also recently had their Canada Day recently. So all the Canadians watching, we hope that you had a good and safe celebration with that. Don't really understand too much of the history behind it, but hope it went well. But yeah, today, we're kind of, I get this question a lot from many people who contact me on a regular basis, and that is, how is it that I'm able to get customers to get a hold of me? How is it that on a regular basis I will have people contacting me and wanting to find out more about the products that I offer? Because we all do this thing called attraction marketing. And if you don't know what attraction marketing is, it's really your ability to be able to get people to fundamentally get attracted to you instead of you going out, making lists, making phone calls, basically just hunting people down. And that kind of way, that annoyance, you become that person. I know somebody who's involved in a company, and to this day, if I see her in the corner of my eye while I'm shopping, I do my best to bolt to the other side of the wall, because I know that I'm going to get approached, and the first thing she's going to say is, how are things going with you? Are you happy with where you are? Don't you want to start your own company? Today it isn't really as bad, but still, I hate that I get that conversation every single time, because I know I'm on her list of people to contact. If you were involved with some sort of company and they told you to make lists of people that you knew, if you really stick to that type of process, somebody has always got to contact you, or somebody's got you on their list, which means that every 6 months or so they will contact you and find out how things are going. And depending on that, you will get approached as many times as possible, because they want you to get involved with what they're doing. And we do it completely different, all right? We have a completely different approach. What we do is we have people who are seeking us out, who are not actually, we're not annoying them. Customers are coming up to us and finding out what it is that we can offer them. And we want to talk to you a little bit about that, how you can actually make that effective in your own business online. And fundamentally, it comes down to, as we've spoken about this before, is you having a passion and really want to do something you enjoy. All right. And one of my passions is, of course, it's helping people. Of course, it's wanting to make a living on the internet, but that's not what I'm talking about. My passion is really about mindset, psychology, and that sort of thing. And I know that Pops is very much into that as well, and how people think and how people react. And I just saw something on the internet a while back, which I am dying to go and see because it involves that type of thinking. And I'm certainly going to learn from that. But if you have something that you love and that you are passionate about, you won't have to force yourself to get up in the morning every day and do something on that. So it's important to have a passion. It's then, of course, important, and this is the next step, is to make sure that your content or your passion that you have, you put out there on the internet for people to find out about. And this is free content, stuff that you can advise people on. If you are heavily involved in the online marketing niche, if you are very involved in the health industry and you know a lot about it, it is your responsibility to go ahead and put content out there in the form of YouTube videos, in the form of blogging, in the form of
Dave freeze up, or is it me?
I think that was me. I froze for a second. Dave looks like he's frozen.
Oh, yeah. Joe just said we lost Dave.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, here he comes. I was frozen too.
Yeah, you were.
Sorry. Did I drop off badly?
I did too.
Yeah, you totally, man.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Yeah. So I think I was, yeah, you find products connected to your passion, and you become an affiliate for that, and effectively you actually earn money on those commissions. So that is how you effectively build a business on the internet. All right. If you want to learn how to build a business on the internet, take these fundamental principles that I've spoken to you about. And this is something you won't hear very often about. People are not going to share this with you on a regular basis. So this is why I said in the email that I put out there that this free type of content, most people aren't going to pay attention to, because it's just something people don't pay attention. If they're not paying for something, people aren't listening up. But if you're one of the few that are somebody who can take action on what we're talking about, this is the important stuff. And now if you want to actually get customers to get a hold of you and to find you, and to interested customers that are actually wanting to buy your own products, we're going to be sharing that with you now. And the first step, and I'm doing the first part of the step, and then Katie's going to grab the second part of the step, because she knows a lot about the subject in this area. And that is, if you have a Facebook profile, if you have a blog, if you have a YouTube channel, or if you have a Twitter account or a Snapchat or something to do with social media out there, the first thing you need to do is to make sure that you have an about section somewhere in there. If you go to my Facebook profile and you click on the about section, you will find my entire story put in written form, something that tells everybody about who I am, what I stand for, all the ways that they can contact me through emails, through Twitter, through Snapchat, through a whole bunch of different ways they can actually get hold of me, and what products I am involved in. You need to have this all inside of an about page. It's so important. And the reason why it's important is that if you are putting out some content out there about health and wellness, mindset, you know, doing yoga, you know, sewing, you know, building cars, fixing computers, if you are putting out something out that's valuable to people and they really appreciate what you have said, their initial response is going to be, how can I find out more about that person? That is just the way human nature works. The moment you put out something of value, somebody is going to say, how can I find out more about Dave? How can I find out more about Pops? How can I find out more about Katie Stage and Jamie Shaw? And even Andrew, who's watching right now. This is important. It's important for you to make sure that you have this available. And I just want Katie, if she wouldn't mind talking a little more about this in effect to Facebook. So Katie, take it away.
Sure thing, Dave. I hope I don't freeze. Just let me know if I freeze or not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here in just a minute. So what Dave is saying is correct, that we should have a way for people to know what we do. Now there's attraction marketing, and then there's just being secretive. Okay, there's a huge difference. Attraction marketing is attracting people, your right people that you want to come into your circle to understand what you're trying to say, and eventually want to do business with you, right? You don't want to be secretive. I've been on plenty of profiles where they share a whole bunch of other like viral videos, or they share memes and stuff like that, but they have a business as well. So it's all play and no work, and nobody really knows what they do. They get a ton of likes on all these other things, but once in a while they do a business post or something with their business, they get 0 likes because they've already conditioned their audience to like the memes and these jokes and share these these viral videos and stuff, and that's the person that they are. So to them, it's going to see this person is not really taking their business seriously. So there's a fine line where you want to integrate everything all at once, and maybe sit there and just before you share something, have this really good habit of putting whatever you're going to share in a business filter. Because I'm at that situation now where everything is put in a business, anything is put in a business filter, and I try to see a lesson in it, and I can share it on my timeline. So it just helps people think. If it's a joke, that's fine, because I've had plenty of people who said, wow, Katie, you really know how to make me laugh and think all in one post. I think that's freaking awesome. So let me just share my screen real quick. I think here, let me just minimize Dave there. You guys can see my screen?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
Looks good.
Thanks. So first of all, this is a Facebook cover photo, and you can create one really simply by going to canva.com. And I have it, if you guys can see that, I have it right here already. But all you have to do is create a custom, being that this is recorded, so you guys can either write notes right now or watch the replay. 851 by 315 will do a perfect fit every single time. Now, when you're creating your cover photo, you have to make sure to be aware that your profile picture is going to be in this little square, and your name and a little nickname if you add that. And then there's the update info, or whatever it looks like on mine. There's the activity log. There's usually friend request, blah, 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 and all this other stuff that's on there. So when you want to put something on your cover photo using Canva, because what you could do, let me just open this up real quick, is you add text. So all I did was I add this image, add these images, add that text, right? And then I added this text, and that's all I wanted on mine, right? You add the text and make sure it fits in on your profile. The uploads, here's a quick tip for you, is I'm going to go to google.com. I don't know why I do that, because it's a search bar anyways. Okay, so I go social media icon transparent background. You go to image, and then you can see all these options for transparent background. And what you're looking for is that little checkered deal in the background, because then you know that it's a true transparent background. Okay, just kind of clicking on images to see what has a transparent background and what doesn't. So that's what you got to look for. So anyways, yeah, it's I think I did this one last time. No, I didn't. But anyways, okay, see, I see how it turns into a checkered background. So that means it's a transparent background, because then you can save it. You just right click, save image as, and you can put it in a folder. And then you can upload it into Canva. And let me just scroll down on my images here. And you can see that the transparent background comes in, and it's like a nice clean photo, right? And then that's when I add it on there, okay? So add your catchphrase, add your, feel free to add your .com, you know, just to tell people where to find, you know, find your blog if you have one. If you don't have one, I highly recommend to have a blog, because that is an all-in-one place. Social media like Facebook and YouTube is just a free tool that can support your primary business. It's a support. You always want to point people back to your website and blog, okay? If you don't have a blog right now, there's a nice shiny candy-like button on the comments page down below this video. It gives you a 10-day, $10 trial. It's an all-in-one marketing system that not only does it have a blogging system, but it also has a funnel creation, attraction marketing tool, and a CRM, all this really cool stuff, plus the workshop that we and Dave and I created together to help you build this, use this tool to build your business. That's what we are, that's why we're here. So anyways, so you get yourself a nice clean banner, a nice clean banner, right? And what you want to do is when you upload that, I'm going to click on it, and you're going to have an option to edit the description. So as soon as you upload it, it's going to ask you to edit that. And what you're going to do is what Dave talked about earlier, is writing your about section in your blog. You can also write it in, one moment, I'm going to click on about, details about me. And this is the about you section. You can make it as long as you want, right? People will read it. However, this section here doesn't show up on mobile. It shows up on desktop and laptops. But the about section, if you go to anybody's profile, you click on the about button, this about or details about them or what about them, it doesn't show up at all. So for whatever reason, it about a year ago it stopped, or maybe half a year ago or something like that, maybe 8 months ago, it just stopped showing up on mobile. So what you should do instead now is click on your cover photo and just paste that, just copy and paste it and bring it over there, right? And then they can see what you offer, little details about you, your little story and stuff like that, and just tell people what you have to offer. You can also do that on your profile. You can do like some kind of meaningful post and put that on your profile so people will see that, right? I mean, it's a really good idea to put all that information anywhere that they would possibly see that, okay? So what else do I want to share? Let me just go ahead and stop sharing my screen real quick.
I just wanted to add to that, Katie, and just so everybody understands the importance of this. One of the things that I did when I was getting started online is when I realized that I needed to find a strategy. When I realized I needed to, because I had recently just used the strategy on Craigslist, because I kind of worked it out for myself. I paid somebody to get a bunch of ads for me on Craigslist. I paid them $25 for 25 ads. They told me to wait 12 days. And then after that, when I waited, I finally got these ads up on Craigslist. And then I couldn't get hold of the person anymore, but they had sent me proof of what they had done through a PDF document. And when I realized that all I need to do was duplicate that same strategy by just finding a way to get myself on Craigslist, when I was shut down by Craigslist and I realized that I needed to find a strategy, what I did is I went along looking for people that were that had courses on YouTube back then. This is like 4 or 5 years ago, and I knew that there was a person who was pretty good on YouTube. And so when I found their profile, I looked in their about section to see if I could find anything, and I found these links to some of their websites. And I went on their website and I found information about what they were sharing, and I found a little 10-minute course. And if it hadn't been for an about section, I don't think I would have found that course that ultimately saved my online life because of that information. All right, and this is why it's so important that you have an about section. If you don't have an about section of ways that people can find out more about what you have to offer, forget about all of the great stuff that you have. Maybe you've put out some content out there, but you're not going to be able to reach people. And this is why when Katie said, if you want to be putting out content there in anonymous ways so nobody can find out more about you, you are going to have a difficult time reaching out to people. It's not going to be as easy as you think. All right, so you need to get hold of that. And as an extra point, Katie, I just want to say that if anybody here wants to become an entrepreneur online, they need to get themselves out there, put their face out there, and let people know who they are. I know people have a lot of privacy issues, and so did I. All right, I had this thing about, what are people going to think about me? I initially started out with a Facebook profile, right? This Facebook profile of mine that I still have online today, but I don't really use. And so I had this thing, and I deemed it I think it was my private Facebook profile. And then I had another personal Facebook profile that was meant for business because I thought that people wouldn't like to see everything about my business online. But what's interesting about that move is that now I only use my personal Facebook profile. I don't even touch my private Facebook profile because I have realized that if you are going to be anonymous, if you're going to be secret online, nobody's going to find out who you are. And all you're going to do is present yourself as somebody who's hiding something. All right. I don't think you'll find that's the case with Pops, or that's the case with Katie. It's important to make sure that you put yourself out there for people to know who you are. Pops, you want to add something to this conversation?
Yes, I do. Thanks, Dave. I wanted to share with you that you'll see a lot of people that are actually copying other people or just putting out spammy type stuff. And to put out original content, your own original content, is the only way that you're going to attract people to you that are searching, because they likely have seen others also and maybe don't like their stuff. But then if they see you and you're copying, they're going to just pass right by you. It's okay to model. It's okay to model after people, but make it your own, because you want to make a difference. And if you want to make a difference, you can't be like everybody else. In order to make a difference, you have to do your own stuff about your product, about yourself, whatever it is you're selling, your service or your product is what you're going to want to, the content is what you're going to want to put out there for. And of course, in our workshop, we teach that and we show people how to do that. And we share a lot, and we teach a lot in our workshop, where we have people that have moved on to great things. Shemalia is one of them, and Lori, and actually everyone, Joel and Andre, they're all doing fantastic, and myself. I was stuck before the workshop. I worked my way through a lot of things through the workshop and learned a lot of things. And we have had new people come into the workshop, and they're there for a while, and they pick up on stuff, and at the same time doing their own work and come up and share new stuff with us. Bob is a great example of sharing stuff. And because we all share and we all learn. So it's not us necessarily being the big gurus teaching everybody how to do things. We all share and mastermind and come up with stuff. And it's just a great platform, which again, like Katie mentioned, it's free for people who decide to use the blogging system and the marketing system that we promote on the yellow candy-like button that she was talking about. So, but make sure if you want to make a difference, you can't be like everyone else. That's the point of my whole talk. Thanks, Dave.
Hey, no problem. And Katie, was there something you wanted to complete on that thought you had? Because I know I interrupted you for a second.
Oh, no, that's okay. You never interrupt me. I'm always interrupting you. Let's just get that straight. But Pops, you brought a really great point, because being a copy and paste marketer, it gets kind of mundane. Like I said it in the comments, I'm on Facebook a lot. Okay, so much so that Zuckerberg is probably going to start charging me rent. So I spend a lot of time on Facebook, and I'm doing a lot of market research, and I'm not goofing off. I'm not scrolling without purpose. I'm scrolling with purpose, and I see the trends, and I see them ahead of time, where we go through those transitions, where I've talked about this before on a hangout, where sometime about this time last year, it was all about the grind and hustle. Everybody is like grind and hustle. Now it's about getting the bag, and they're doing the emojis with a freaking bag or something with the money sign. It's fine. It's fine to be part of the trend, but you got to have your own voice. Okay. You don't want to look like everybody else. And, I get a lot of friend requests with these, now that Facebook has, I think it's 100 and like Twitter, it's like 140 characters where you can put on Facebook, and it's like the big letters, right? And it sticks out, which was really cool at first. And it's still cool. That's fine. And then the background color started happening, which is totally fine. However, it's starting to, at this point, it's already been about a year now since that stuff came out. And it's starting to gloss over for me. Okay, I'm seeing the same thing over. I feel like everybody's, saying the same thing, and it's just kind of like a copy and paste kind of world. So what I do is I see those trends, and I try to train our workshop warriors, right, in our group, to train them to see these trends so they can kind of do something different, whether that's even going back to the olden days or something. I don't know. I don't even know what the old days is, but something different. So I think what I'm trying to say here is, you got to think outside the box, or think outside something, right? Or blow the freaking thing up. I don't care. Blow the box up. But I think what is going to, I think what's really going to stick out for you, and what you're going to, keeping you from drowning in the sea of sameness, okay, is to share your personal story, because nobody else is going to have that. So what you want to do is, the next time, like I mentioned before, the next time that you want to share a quote or something, put your business filter in it and tell them why you're sharing it. Get people's brain racking, you know what I mean, and rolling and whatever, and share a piece of you as to why you shared that quote. Do you have to stop the little short 40 characters? No, you don't have to. But don't always do that, because I've seen profiles where it's nothing but that, and I'm like, okay, they're sharing something to help you think, but it's just like I said, it just kind of gets repetitive, and then it gets old, and then you're like, okay, how many Tony Robbins videos can you actually freaking watch when he starts to sound like he sounds the same all the time? Like, yeah, we know Tony. We can now hear the word Tony Robbins, and all of a sudden we're pumped up to go do something. We don't even have to listen to him anymore, right? I have no idea. But the point is that people are just you just look like everybody else, and people are just gonna I don't know. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, if you see a trend on the internet and you start copying everybody else's trend, you're not going to stand out. You're just going to be somebody in the background. And this is why it's important to make sure that you are standing above the rest, that you are doing things, you are going beyond the point of what's the norm. All right. So for me, in my group, one of the things that I did when I got started is, instead of just sending out an email to people, if I got any sort of response by anybody who, for instance, opted in my list, I wouldn't just send them a welcome email. I would send them a little personal video, just saying, hey, how you doing? And say their name. And actually, find, if there was a very hard pronounced name, I would say, look, I hope I'm getting this right. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. Maybe you can correct me on this. This way you're starting an engagement with somebody else on the other side. And this way you're standing out. And that was what made me stand out above the rest, because I was going beyond the call of duty and just being that marketer. All right. And that's important. I think that's what you're saying, Katie, is not just when people are dropping past just an emoji all the time and you're doing the same thing, to make sure you go beyond that point and you don't just do what everybody else is doing. But
Right.
this brings me to my next point along these lines, and that is, if you have an about section, if you have, and of course, if you have a product that you are selling, and if you have a niche that you're involved in, you need to start building up your personal training library. You need to start building up your personal little library of information that you're putting out there. All right. So if you go and you look up me online, you'll find that I have tons of videos on mindset, tons of videos on how to deal with anger, how to deal with depression, how to deal with people that are being nasty to you, how to overcome obstacles. I've got these types of videos out there because it's my little training library. It's my little passion. And you need to start developing your own training library. And you need to start doing this on a regular basis. You cannot just do it once, forget about it, and start it again next month. You need to do this on a regular basis. Because the bigger your library gets, the more people are going to see it. And the more people that are going to see it, the more people are going to start clicking on your about page. And then you're going to get emails, and you're going to get messages, and then you're going to get DMs, and then you're going to get people contacting you all the time. This is how we all do it. And the main way that you do this, and I know you hear this all the time, so I'm going to illustrate this in the form of a story to illustrate my point.
Oh, I thought you were going to do song form. Dang it.
No, sorry. That's for next week. Is to make sure that you are consistent. And we hear this all the time. But to illustrate my point, I want to tell you a story about a man that my dad knew years ago. His name was Uncle Willie Burton. He was a missionary in the Congo. And when he went there, he would tell people about Jesus and all of that stuff. But he would have this exercise that he would have with the kids. And he would say to them, if you can remember 100 verses, he would give them a free Bible. That was his little game that he would play with the kids. And these kids would come up to him throughout the weeks and repeat these verses. And if they got 100 verses, he would give them a Bible, as like a reward for doing what they did. But there was one kid in the tribe that could not get it right. He could not, however much he tried, he could not remember the verses. He would go over them every day, and Uncle Willie Burton could see this on a regular basis, that he was trying to learn the verses. And I think after a few weeks, Willie Burton went up to this little boy and said, here is a free Bible. And the boy was confused, and he said, why are you giving me a Bible? I haven't memorized all the verses. And he said, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to take this basket, and I want you to go down to the river, and I want you to fill it up with water, and I want you to bring that water to me and put it in this bucket. So the kid says, okay, I'll do that. So he runs down to the river, he puts the basket in the river, and he runs up the hill. And as he gets to the bucket, there's no water in the basket because all the water had seeped through. And he says, now, okay, All right, you got to do it again. I want to get water in this bucket. So he says, okay, fine. So he goes down again and he tries this whole thing again, and he still can't get the water. He still can't get enough water to fill up in the bucket. He says, maybe I got to do it faster. So he runs on there and he goes back up. Nothing happens. And he does this for about 7 times. And he says, I'm sorry, Uncle Willie Burton, I cannot do this. There's too many holes in the basket. And this is where Uncle Willie Burton said something that stuck with this kid forever. And that was, he said, take a look at how clean the basket is. And he looked down at the basket, and it was like somebody had washed the bucket. And the point was that over the weeks of him going through the verses, just the spirit of him working through that process, he got more focused on the Bible. He got more focused on God and everything. And this was the way that he was teaching this boy, and he finally understood. Now, in the same way, when you are doing this on a regular basis, maybe it's not going to stick with you every single day. Maybe it's not going to cement in your mind like a lot of people's do. But what you will find is that you will start focusing on your business more. You will start thinking in ways that an entrepreneur does, because you're hanging around people like myself and Pops and Jamie and Andre and Shamila and all of these people. Because you are hanging around with people that are successful, that success is going to rub off on you. And before you know it, you're going to start to do things that are going to help your business anyway. And this is the importance of consistency. Consistency is not just about putting out regular content. It is about you thinking about your business on a daily basis and getting yourself to work harder at it. And I'm one of the slow learners as well. It didn't happen for me overnight. I know this because I failed miserably for 7 years before the switch finally got switched on in my brain. And it was like I was carrying that basket of water going up and down, up and down, up and down that mountain or that hill, but it was cleaning my brain. I started to think correctly about business, and it finally hit me what needed to be done. And this is the power of consistency. You need to start developing your own content. You need to start developing your own voice. You need to start developing your own mind. So when you put out something fresh on the internet, somebody will go, wow, that's incredible. Let me find out more about this person, and I can learn how to actually go about doing this. And you might even find, as a result of doing this, now you will find this, that you will get people contacting you on a regular basis and asking you questions. And when people ask you questions, it gives you ideas for more content. And it's kind of like the cycle that repeats itself. And before you know it, you've got so many people contacting you on a regular basis. And this is the ultimate thing. Does anybody here want to add to that at all?
Yeah, I'd like to add that in your About Me should be as consistent as the content you're going to put out. And I was taught, and I believe that your About Me shouldn't be about you necessarily. It's an introduction to you and what you can offer, because they really don't care about what you have been or are doing. They want to know what you have for them. And when they go to your About Me, that's where you can have the biggest impact on what you have to offer for them, in that what you do and what you can do for them is the most important thing I believe that you can put in your About Me page. Because again, you know, you could, if you're a mother of 5, or if you're a husband working a full-time and a part-time job, but you found a better way, you can lead with that, but then go into the benefits. You have to address, in my opinion, the benefits of what you can offer for them right away, so you can grab their attention immediately. So then they will want to subscribe, or they will want to look at your other content that you have in your library. It's very important to be consistent, as Dave said, in that effect, in turning their switch on. And again, you know, while Dave was talking about the lessons of the Bible, you know, you ask and you'll receive. So you start asking yourself what you can do for more content, you'll get it. And you will become what you think about. That's just the law of nature. You will become that person. You've already become the person you are because of what you thought about. And we all say that we've been influenced by, our parents and teachers and lay persons and ministers and whomever. Well, that's because we accepted what they taught us, or what they showed us. So we may have been too young to know the difference, but the point is that we accepted it as truth. So when you start thinking about your business and the content that you're putting out there, and you think about it a lot, you are going to become that person, that expert in what you have to offer, and that's what you will become and share with other people. And it's just, again, a law of nature that you're going to turn into that person, and that, well, I hate to say guru, but eventually you're going to become that expert that people are going to go to. Like Dave said and Katie said, they're going to be knocking on your door to find out what else you can do for them and how you can fix them, because they are going to be very hungry with the content that you show them.
Absolutely. I subscribe to that 100%. This is the whole idea. When I was looking for that course, or when I was looking for a way to get a strategy, when I found that profile, when I find that about page, I was really looking for more answers to my problems. That was definitely what it was about. And yes, as you become more successful, and as you actually do become an inspiration for other people, your stories do inspire, but that isn't primarily how you're advertising. You're not really advertising your story because nobody really knows anything about you yet. But the moment you share value and people understand that you're not just speaking what everybody else is speaking, you're actually speaking tremendous truth. You're speaking something that's amazing. That's when people want to find out more about you. So your story comes into effect a bit later. It isn't immediate, all right? Your story may not have an amazing success story, but you can start with just the basics, stuff that you just learn on a regular basis. And so many people inside of our workshop do the same thing, all right? They get inside of the workshop, they find out that there's more to just online marketing than just putting out products and letting the products sell themselves. There's so much more to that. And when they find out this information, they go and they share that out with the world. And they're just being honest. They just sharing their tiny successes along the way. All right. There's a guy that I knew, Aiden, who when he first started out, his first story was, I know nothing about what I'm doing. I'm just giving this a try. So just keep an eye out on me, and you can watch my success as I grow. And he was just really upfront with people about he didn't know anything. And as he grew, because he was just being honest with his audience, people saw how he grew over the years. And now he's a titan online. He does things online, which is incredible because he has learned so much. And once he gains all of the success and people understand that he provides so much value, that's when people are interested to know how he grew. And that's when people invite you along, and they want you they want to interview you, they want to hear your story. And this has happened to all of us, all right? Both Katie and myself, we've been asked to give an interview post, all right, answering questions. And this only comes about after what we're sharing with you. We've all had it, Jamie, Pops, myself, and I'm sure other people even. We've got Andre, we've got Jovi, we've got Bob Nevin. We all have our tiny successes that people want to hear about. And that's important. So, yeah, Katie, you want to talk a little bit more about this workshop?
Yeah, actually, what we have in this workshop, it's something that, Dave came to me one day, actually 2 years ago, since last month. It's been like 2 years and a month. He talked about this workshop, and I'm like, this little thing that we're going to do once a week or whatever, and hold it on a Zoom platform, which was a really good idea. And I'm like, hell yeah. And a shout out to Jamie. He's with family today, but he's the one who came up with Workshop Warrior Institute, which is awesome. But anyways, we've already had 2 years. We've had people come and go, and when they leave, they usually leave as, a better version of themselves, and also basically a thought leader in their niche, right? And become, you know, they kind of grow out of the workshop. And that's basically what our goal is, because, you know, our goal is to get people to the point where we're at. And as we continue to grow, we get to help other people grow even more. So, but yeah, basically what we do is we have this on a Zoom platform. So it's nothing like what you're seeing now, where you're kind of stuck just watching us on a screen and commenting and stuff like that, where the Zoom platform is actually really nice because everybody gets a chance to speak. And we typically don't, actually we don't stop until every question is answered, has been our consistent every 2 years. There has been a specific situations where we decide to look inside one particular person's business and kind of look to see what could change. You know, even if they want to share with us some conversations in their prospecting, where they can take it next, or how are they going to market, or how should they market, and all this other stuff, and try to organize their business and try to get all the pieces of the puzzle together, and we'll help them put it together. So, but yeah, it's a really interesting journey that we've been on for the last 2 years, right, Dave? It's just all about helping people grow. And typically people just keep showing up. They just keep showing up because they just love that community. So, yeah. Anybody else want to say anything about the workshop?
I'm gonna leave it for Pops to say something if you want to say.
Yeah, there's another law, actually, another universal law that I want to touch on, and because that's what we're doing in the workshop, and it's the law of where any two or more people can come together with the same thoughts and the same purpose. Because we're all connected. We're all connected. We all breathe, and we're all connected, spiritually, and however you want. Just the ideas can bounce off each other and become developed, and it's just amazing. We jump onto one subject, and somebody else will come up with something, and another person will come up with something else, and it's just like in a classroom. That's why they have classrooms, because, you know, the teacher, if it's a good teacher, is going to allow the kids to interact with each other on these subjects and have little side workshops, and they can develop themselves that way too, because they understand that when two or more people come together, they can create just amazing things and learn amazing things. And that's why we have such a success in our workshop, and where people go away eventually if they need to jump on their own, because we have a set time when we have our workshop, and it may conflict with their current business because they've grown to a point where they need to take the time away from the workshop, either from family or to do their own business and grow from there. And it's amazing how some people have grown. Of course, some people have given up and moved on to other things, but we have noticed where they have come back as well. So it's kind of ironic, you know. A lot of people, you know, they test. We don't all have immediate successes, so they may get frustrated and want to go off and try something else, or, you know, lose faith in what's going on. But they come back because they realize the grass is not that much greener on the other side, and they're trying to do it alone, and they realize that it was better in the group, so they come back. And it's just so amazing that happens. It's just awesome. So I'll pass that on.
Absolutely. And I know we're coming to the top of the hour. We like to keep it within 60 minutes because we want to respect people's time. But please make sure that you come back next week for the same time. We will be doing this again, and we'll be sharing something else that everybody here. And also keep in mind that in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be having Erin Birch on as a special guest. Sharing her story with people, which is going to be amazing, and I can't wait for that to happen. But also keep in mind that during the week, there's a ton of hangouts that happen. I'm not sure about how whether they are going to actually happen because of the 4th of July. But just so you know, tomorrow we've got, let's see, 4 o'clock, you got Maria with her hangout at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then at 7 o'clock Eastern, you have Katie and Pops hangout, which they have tomorrow. And then there's Ricky at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then the next day, we have Wisdom Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then for this Wednesday, for My Lead System Pro, there's going to be a recording that's going to be up that if you have the time and you want to be available, you can go and watch that as well. And then, of course, Jamie Shaw's got his Thriving Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. So there's a whole bunch of hangouts that happen throughout the week. And if you can get on there, they're all part of our team. They're all part of our let's see, our posse, okay, that we're a part of, and this is who we rub off of each other so that we can sharpen iron with iron. And so if you have time to go and see this, go ahead and get on that. And if you want to be a part of our workshop on Saturdays, all right, get hold of us. First of all, click on that shiny gold icon looking button below. Get signed up for the 10-day trial so that you can get started with this online marketing university and learn how to use the tools inside of there to put what we've just said into practice. And once you're in there, contact us and we'll give you more information on how to get inside of the workshop. Because believe me, it's changed my life. I know it's changed everybody else's life. Just a tremendous way for you to learn and grow. And with that being said, we will say goodbye. We will see you same time next week. You have a tremendous day. Cheers.
We're still alive.